Today is class number, does anyone know? Nope. Nope. 15. Isn't that amazing? It's going by quickly. Okay, before we get started, and today is January the 15th, 2011. I just wanted to read a couple quotes. I made a few comments, and when I say something, I like to have spirit of prophecy to back it up. We were talking about weight last week. What if you have a 6'7" person who weighs 300 and something pounds? Do they eat the same? Do you measure by the weight? This is in Counsels on Diets and Foods, page 108, paragraph 4. It is impossible to prescribe by weight the quantity of food which should be eaten. It is not advisable to follow this process. So you don't weigh your food. You know what I'm saying? And according to the size of the person. It is not advisable to follow this process, for by so doing, the mind becomes self-centered. Isn't that something? Okay, we were talking about juicing and smoothies last week, and soups and stuff, too much liquid. She says soft or liquid foods are less wholesome than dry foods. We want the most wholesome foods. And that's because you can't masticate soft and liquid foods and chew and start the peristalsis. And that's Ministry of Healing, page 301, paragraph 3. Remember, we were talking about if we live here in Mangles or in another country or far away from where we are, we should really eat the foods native to our land. We are told, this is Counsels on Health, page 477, the foods used should be suited to the occupation in which we are engaged and the climate in which we live. So if it's cold, you want more warm foods, and if it's hot, you want cooler foods. Some foods that are suitable in one country will not do in another. You hear that? So this is just something going over. So these two I'll do another time. I just wanted to give those quotes because I like to show the proof. Okay. This week we'll be going over the last of the major diseases. That went by quickly. But can you guys tell me what are the top 4 major diseases in the United States of America? Okay, here, the American Medical Association will tell you, he said it, heart disease, what people are dying from, cancer, medical error, and stroke. This is what they say, but we say differently. What did we learn is the #1 cause of death more than anything else combined. And the reason why heart disease is at the top is these people are dying from their drug medication. So, drug medication is the #1 cause of death. Now, these statistics are from a couple years ago. Did you know cancer has now just surpassed heart disease? Cancer is the #2 cause of death in this nation. They said by 2010, 2011, it would be equal to, I just read something yesterday, it's actually above now. So cancer, heart disease, and stroke. Today's topic all this will be emailed to everyone. Today's topic is America's death warrant. Part 1. What am I talking about? What is the death warrant that people are more scared to get than anything else? No, not AIDS. That's not common. That's not even on our list. Cancer. We're going to be talking about cancer. More people die from cancer than AIDS. And now AIDS is not on the rise like it was, but cancer is still on the rise because of this, and we'll be learning about this. So today we're talking about cancer. Before we get started, I wanted to read, well, let me read a few of these statistics here. It says in 1945, 1 out of 15 people died of cancer. In 1971, it was 1 in 6. In 1976, it was 1 in 5. That was 20%. Now, well, when this was written, that was back then. This was several years ago. Now 1 in 3 is said. And they said by 2012, it will be the leading cause of death, which I told you, I've read scientific material. They said we've arrived there already. It's the leading cause of death outside of drug medication. We know drug medication is the #1 cause. Okay, and then heart disease after cancer. While cancer death statistics can vary from place to place, it is generally estimated that roughly 7.2 to 7.5 million people worldwide die from cancer each year. In the United States, where cancer death statistics are highly monitored each year, has seen a steady death rate of 550 to 600,000 people every single year in the United States. And this was written about 4 or 5 years ago. That's approximately 1,500 people a day. That would be several 747s crashing in the United States every day. What would the FAA do if 7 jumbo jets crashed in the United States every day? There'd be a problem, wouldn't there? There'd be major investigation. You'd see it all over the news, right? But that many people die every day from cancer. This puts cancer, well, it said second leading cause of death, but now it's the leading cause of death. And those statistics have gone up. Okay, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, he's the author of, this is the most condensed, the most profound book ever written on nutrition. Dr. T. Colin Campbell, PhD, author of the China Study, the most comprehensive study of nutrition ever conducted, says the leading cause of cancer is lung cancer. And the second leading for men and women combined, what do you think it is? Large bowel cancer. And we call that the what? That's the colon cancer. So for total, lung cancer is #1. Combined for men and women, #2 is bowel cancer. In men, it says the second and third most frequent occurring cancers are prostate and colon, outside of the lung. Prostate is second, colon is third. In women, it's cancer of the breast and cancer of the colon. So I want to read some of these. This is from the China Study. Remember I was telling you guys last week, every week, whatever topic I'm doing, I always receive something regarding that topic, and it's like a confirmation. I wanted some information, but I was like, Lord, this is too thick for me to just read all this in a few days. I need some comprehensive information, detailed, little more than what I have, where I could talk on breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer. And guess what came in my mailbox? There was a lady who had been watching the videos. She lives in Tennessee, and she found the videos on YouTube, thanks to Brother Arsenault for putting them on there. She said, I love the videos. She's been so blessed in sharing them with the people in her church. Well, she just so happened to do an outline on this entire book. So she's up to part 15. She sent me parts 1 through 14. Part 11 was breast cancer. Part 12 was bowel cancer, colon cancer, and part 13 was prostate cancer. How many could say amen? That's God. His timing is always perfect. Yes, I'm going to send them all to everyone this week. And I was like, praise the Lord, he's so good. Now let's hear what she says, what he says, T. Colin Campbell, in his research on breast cancer. 1 out of 8 American women will be diagnosed with this disease during their lifetimes. 1 out of 8. That's a lot. Okay? Some of the risk factors are early age of menstruation. That's an early cycle for a woman. Late age of menopause. High levels of female hormones in the blood. Estrogen is the main culprit. And progesterone levels. High blood cholesterol. Okay? The evidence shows women who consume a diet rich in animal-based foods with a reduced amount of whole plant-based foods reach puberty earlier and menopause later. Did you guys know that? Those who eat a high animal diet and less plant-based, they reach puberty early and menopause late. And in Puerto Rico, several years ago, I want to say 15 years ago, they did a thing on 2020 where the girls there were starting their cycles at 5 and 7 years old. Yes. Yes. This was in 95, 96, somewhere when I saw this. And it was because of the high hormone in the meat. Okay? According to our China study data, lifetime exposure to estrogen is at least 2.5 to 3 times higher among Western women when compared to rural Chinese women. And that's because they eat more vegetables, more grains, and very little meat. There is overwhelming evidence that estrogen levels are critical determinant of breast cancer risk. Estrogen directly participates in the cancer process, and that's why they don't let women who have breast cancer eat soybeans, because of the estrogen. Now, that's a plant estrogen. It's very iffy, but it's better to be safe than sorry. The risk of breast cancer is preventable if we eat foods that will help keep estrogen levels under control. I'm just reading some little outlines that he said, and we're going to get into our study. Environmental and dietary factors play a central role. Environmental and dietary factors play a central role in determining whether these genes are expressed. Doing a mammography. Who knows what a mammography is? That's a breast exam, right? And it's a glass thing, and it's cold. And they press it down. Doing a mammography or getting a genetic test to see if you harbor BRCA genes does not constitute prevention of breast cancer. Screening is merely an observation to see if the disease has progressed to an observable state, and science has found that it causes cancer in the breast. Mammograms. And I have a link on, when I send you, you'll see links and videos of doctors where you'll be able to listen. Number 9. China studies question to this. Why don't we ask why estrogen is so high in the first place, and once we recognize its nutritional origin, correct its cause? So getting to the cause. Number 10, instead of suggesting dietary change as a solution, we spend hundreds of millions of dollars developing and publicizing a drug that may or may not work, and that almost certainly will have unintended side effects. Haven't we been talking about that? For every 10,000 healthy postmenopausal women who took hormone replacement therapy, there were 7 more women with heart disease, 8 more with strokes, and 8 more with pulmonary embolism. Okay? Instead of relying on hormone replacement therapy, China studies suggest that there is a better way. Guess what that way is? Food. Good food, that's right. So that's on breast cancer, and we'll be going a little bit more into that. Large bowel cancer. This type of cancer is the 4th most common worldwide. It is the 2nd most common in the United States, which we talked about earlier, with 6% of Americans getting the cancer during their lifetime. I have a friend who had surgery for this last year, and surgery again, and surgery, and I have a relative who had to have a hole in their stomach and a piece of their, bowel removed. Yes, this is very prominent in the United States. And my friend who had this done, he was 45 years old.